Ladies and gentlemen, as a Friday gift, here's the last pre-release for the week, pre-release 5 for Minecraft 1.18. This one contains bug fixes for world generation, world upgrades, and quite a few pixel errors. My name is Sliced Lime and I'm here to guide you through these changes. Let's start with world upgrades. The method for how the game determines whether to insert newly generated terrain under an existing world has changed slightly. In this new algorithm, the game first checks if there is any bedrock at all in the bottom layer of a chunk. If there isn't, the entire chunk gets air inserted underneath. If there is, the bottom block for each column in the chunk will determine the result for that column. If there's air, there will be air all the way down. If there's anything else, there will be new terrain all the way down. Another fix is to the chunk blending, where there would be too many caves generated in the blended area, and some caves would cause very sharp edges when blended. That is fixed in this version. If you upgrade an existing floating islands world, that will now also generate slightly better new terrain. Let's talk about world generation. The hoodoo pillars in Badlands had stone generating into their sides, now they're made entirely out of terracotta again. Mossy cobblestone boulders had started generating in a fixed pattern in old-growth taiga biomes that is fixed in this version. In caves, a number of feature fixes have been done. Cave vines, spore blossoms, and pointed dripstone could generate inside the floor and the ceiling, instead of on top of it. That's fixed in this version. Cave vines could also generate hanging on some odd blocks, like cave vines hanging from pointed dripstone, or cobwebs, or even hanging from a water block or air. That is also fixed. Clusters of pointed dripstone that generated in very tall dripstone caves would form in the smallest state possible. Now they generate properly randomized pillar heights again. Azalea trees stopped generating at all, that's fixed in this version. And also some other problems with azalea generation from before it stopped generating have been fixed, including how azalea would sometimes generate on top of weird blocks such as icebergs or huge mushrooms, or fail to generate entirely while the root system still generated. Speaking of the root system, that has also been fixed, so the rooted dirt can now grow through red sand and terracotta. Some vegetation features had become very rare in the 1.18 snapshots. This includes sweet berries, pumpkins, and melons. They've now been tweaked to generate closer to the 1.17 frequencies, with berries about 4 times more common than previously in the snapshots, melons about 10 times more common, and pumpkins about 6 times more common. Finally, the bug introduced in pre-release 4, where features would fail to generate in superflat worlds, have been fixed, so you now once again get a platform to spawn on in the Void preset. A single gameplay fix in this version. The axe is no longer the correct tool to mine flowers, which generally doesn't matter since flowers are instantly breakable anyway, but it does mean flowering azalea leaves now have only the hoe as an appropriate tool. And a single mob fix too. Mobs now once again panic when burning if they're near water and can't get to it. Before we dive into a whole bunch of visual fixes in this version, let me take a moment to ask you to please shoot off some clicks in the direction of the like button. It makes YouTube spread the video to more viewers, so I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Now, this pre-release also includes a long list of very small fixes for textures. A cactus in a flower pot no longer looks as squished. Beetroot and melon seeds are now vertically centered in item form. Lily pads no longer get mirrored when placed. The armor stand slab now uses the updated smooth stone slab texture. Planks in the cartography table and lectern base now match the newer looks of planks. Glass pane tops have been updated to match the newer glass look of the texture update, and red and blue glass blocks now match the level of translucency of the other colored glass types. The top and bottom texture of spruce doors have been fixed, and oak and iron door textures no longer have a horizontal line straight through the middle. A single incorrect pixel in the fully grown carrot crop texture has been fixed, and the side texture of dirt paths now matches the updated dirt from the texture update. Warped and crimson stems now have the same top textures as they do in Bedrock Edition. The dark oak log top texture bark ring has been updated, and the stripped dark oak log side texture is now the appropriate brightness. The back of wild axolotls are no longer off-centered, and the bottom side of parrot's wing textures is no longer reversed. Finally, some inconsistent highlight colors on the diamond and gold armors have been fixed. Let's move on to fixes in the user interface. Some sliders didn't work properly in the previous pre-release, and you couldn't change numbers for the game rules on the Create World screen. The show and hide message buttons in the social interaction screen always showed their tooltips regardless of whether you hovered the buttons or not. That's also fixed in this version. There's some additional pixel fixes for the UI as well. The hammer icon in the anvil screen now uses the colors for iron used in the texture update, and a few pixels of a slightly different shade of grey have been fixed in the grindstone UI. In terms of performance and stability, fixes have been made for performance issues when the game plays many sounds at once, for lag caused by pistons facing east or west breaking blocks, and more improvements have been made to speed up world saving. That's it for this one. Thank you model citizen viewers who stayed all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. And if you're still here, check out this video as well.